President Trump lashing out at some of his own supporters as he defends Attorney General Pam Bondi right now. She's been facing growing criticism over the past few days over her failure to release files on the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, despite suggesting that she had this client list sitting on her desk waiting for review. Hosts Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson are among those ripping the administration's handling of this case at the Turning Point USA Summit over the weekend.
I blame Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it, it's on her desk, it's coming tomorrow, you're gonna see something on Epstein. She's either lying now or she was lying then. There's no two ways about it.
What is it about Jeffrey Epstein that's so infuriating to people? It's the frustration of normal people watching a certain class of people get away with everything every single time.
The president posting on Truth Social Saturday night that Attorney General Bondi is doing a fantastic job and he doesn't like what's happening. He also wrote, quote, "Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more?" Joining us now is columnist for the Daily Signal, Jarrett Stepman. Jarrett, happy Monday morning to you. Last week, we saw the fissures starting to emerge over this, right? But this weekend seemed to hit just a fracture and full-on boiling point. How bad is this for the Republican Party, do you think?
I think it's certainly bad in this very moment. I mean, I guess the question is, will this significantly impact midterms? Will this mean that actual Republican voters stay home as opposed to or maybe vote for Democrats? I don't think that's the case. I do think that there is a lot of justified anger from some on the right, certainly among podcasters and commentators who I think the Trump administration really did overpromise on this issue in many ways. And many feel like they haven't been given straight answers by the administration, especially with a lot of the confusion about the files being on Bondi's desk. And I can see why there's a lot of anger at this moment. Yes.
Yeah. You bring up podcasts. You have podcast hosts like Andrew Schultz saying, you know, this is not what I voted for. Right. But on the flip side, you've got Republican Congressman Mike Lawler told NewsNation on Sunday it's time to move on from Epstein. Do you think, you know, put us in the mind. I know that nobody really can do this, Jarrett, but put us in the mind of where you think the president is right now. Is he torn between the podcasters who helped get him elected and Republicans who want to shift their focus to their priorities ahead of midterms next year?
For sure. I think he sees this maybe as something, an issue that he's kind of given what he can give on it, and that he's basically released some of what he was able to. That, again, I think that there was a case of overpromising. He wanted to do this, especially with when you talk about, like, for instance, the JFK files that were also released, and that he wants to move on to what he sees as much bigger issues. And talk about Russia or talk about what's happened in Iran. And I think he sees it as a distraction for his overall agenda. But I don't think the questions are going to go away because it does touch on something that angers a lot of people, that distrust in institutions and the wealthy and powerful getting away with things. And I think that that's why people are angry, even though we've already uncovered so much of those who are victims in this case. Many people want to see the very powerful face justice.
Yeah, it has been fascinating to watch because usually, no matter what the issue is, his most loyal supporters get on board, right? Whatever he says goes. But this has clearly struck a nerve. Now that he says, you know, let's move on from the Epstein files, he says nobody cares. How big of a 180 is that from what he promised on the trail, Jarrett?
It is, although I don't think Trump necessarily was forward with this. A lot of his supporters demanded it at the time, and he did make promises about this. And just wanting it to go away, I don't think will suffice in this case. I think these questions are going to continue long after. And again, it's partially, I think, the administration's fault to a certain extent that they did overpromise on this issue, and they've kind of created this headache for themselves. The question is there actually more to the story that's being hidden? I'm not sure about that. And if there isn't, I mean, I can see why the president and the Justice Department are frustrated about it.
Before I let you go, Elon Musk, of course, also doubling down in his criticisms, too, saying President Trump should just release the Epstein files as promised. What impact do you think he has in this as Musk now pushes for this third party, this America party?
I think he maybe overplayed it just a bit, especially when earlier on he made some suggestions that President Trump was on the list. I think that was a bit ridiculous, especially given the fact that these files were in the hands of the Democrat Party that very much wanted to see Trump gone for the last 4 years. And I think he has kind of overpromised on this. So I don't think Musk is going to be able to use this against the Trump administration as much as he wants to. I think his criticism actually is quite different than many of the other conservative podcasters who've sort of in this moment turned on President Trump.
Yeah, and I lied. I have one more question for you, Jarrett. You know, in the beginning, we played that soundbite from Megyn Kelly. She said about Bondi, she was either lying then or she's lying now. You know, neither way is good. Are your sources telling you it's one or the other? What's the scoop that you've heard?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the files are still basically, because this is a criminal matter, not able to be released. But the problem is when she says the files are on my desk, many people believed it was the client list, and that's what most want. Now she's saying essentially that it wasn't. This was just had to do with the victims. It's about child pornography, basically, that can't be released to the public. That very well may be true. I'm not sure if there is a black book of people who are on this client list, and so that may very well be true. But that's not what his supporters wanted. They wanted a list of the powerful people who may have used these services, and that's what people are angry about.
Well, we'll see if we ever get more than we've been given. Jarrett Stepman, thanks for all your time this morning on a Monday. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.